Alright, let's see. I think we should be ready. We have everything all set. And everything seems to be good to go. Alright, so now... Okay. I think it's time for me to go ahead and finally hop into the stream right now, so let me check to make sure everything's fine. Okay, let's see. Hey Crasher, Coral, Pokemon. I'm using trying to get me to... Yeah. Hey Zoro, and hey Samurai Trainer Z. Hey Fallen Hero. What's up? Happy Super Bowl. Yeah, that's right, it is Super Bowl Sunday. Which I will be watching later on, but that's only for the commercials and the halftime show. Mostly because my team they made it. Oh well, what can you do? Okay. Without further delays, we have some guests in there, so I'm about to hop in there and greet them all. So let's go ahead and jump in. Okay, come on. You can do it.
3.
See, that was a better joke. You weren't even trying.
6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so this is the PokeChat 32, but it's the 10th DX.
Okay.
Because we branded it.
Okay. So for you guys,
So like Pokepod R in Pokepod World.
Yeah, like because apparently Goggles started this with the Riolu and some specials in between. So imagine that the PokeChat, it was Journey's pre-hiatus until episode 22, and we are post-hiatus. So what is episode 32 of Journeys?
So what's up, guys? I'm finally live, by the way.
What? Oh, hey, Giggle Blaster.
Wow.
Automatic mute.
I left that alone for a reason.
I know. It's been a while.
Okay. Episode 32 is a Tokyo episode. So yeah, new cast, new guests, new opening. Let's go.
All right. So first off, hello everybody. Welcome to PokeChat Live. Clearly, if you guys can hear from these fine folks, we have some people with us, and I'm gonna go one by one from our usual cast. So first off, I'm gonna greet Alex.
Yo, my name's Aleximo. You guys know who I am.
We have Koro.
Greetings, trainers. Skrubblitz here. What's up, everyone?
We got Media Nut.
I'll have this Inteleon shaken, not stirred.
God damn it.
And that's one joke.
We have Shiny Zoroark.
Hello, everyone. Zoro here.
And we got Xenolith.
Greetings, my comrades. My name is Zeno, and how is everyone doing today?
Yeah, we're doing good, but that's not the only folks we have, guys. Obviously, you guys been on Twitter the last weekend. You all aware that we have recruited some new members, and one of the new members is here with us. So introduce yourself, Crasher.
Yo, I normally don't open up with yo. It's my first day on the job. Please don't judge me. I'm just very giddy and excited. How's it going, everyone? You got your boy Corey here, aka Crasher, and it is a pleasure to be here in front of all of you beautiful people today.
And just like with Crasher, we do have another one, but he's coming soon. But we do have another special guest, Tyrone the God 3. So introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. Tyrone the God 3 here. I was wandering around, and I'm here now. This is life.
Yeah, this is life, guys. We've did it. Sorry, I had to drink Pepsi. But anyways, welcome everybody to the newest PokeChat Live here on Sunday, which hopefully will be the last one on Sunday, because in fact, reservations are starting to be finished soon, so we should be back to our Saturday format. But yeah, folks, if you guys may be aware on the banner and everything else, we have added Crasher and Infamous to the PokeChat Familia. I'm calling it Familia because I speak Spanish.
Yeah.
Whee!
So yeah, right now I'm pretty sure Trey and Infamous will be coming here soon. But in the meantime, I think it's best if we get started. What do you guys say?
I'm down.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Fine by me.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
I'm betting they'll arrive at the end of the episode.
All right. Oh, and real quick. I know someone's gonna get on me about a certain audio issue. I want to make this clear right now. I did bought some headsets, but they're not coming till tomorrow. So if there's any audio issues, I apologize. We're gonna get that fixed though, because the headsets are coming tomorrow. We all know who I'm talking about.
The show must go on.
The show must go on.
Show's got to go on.
So with that said, let's get started with the recent episode of Journeys, episode 54, Mission Impossible. I mean Mission Impossible. I couldn't butcher that even more better than I could have. Man, this episode. Okay, before I jump into my usual routine, I'll ask each of you guys a brief moment. Initial thoughts of the episode, basically. Crasher, since you are one of our newest members, would you care to give your brief thoughts or your impressions?
Well, to be perfectly honest with you, going into this episode, I wasn't expecting a high ranking because I wasn't expecting it to be super over the top or super hype. But for what it was worth, for what it delivered, it was bang on in my honest opinion. I have a review coming out later on tonight, and I give this episode a solid 7.5 out of 10, just to level with you guys. For what it was worth, it was very, very good.
Alex, would you like to give a brief thought?
This episode was amazing. This was definitely one of my favorite episodes of Journeys, just because, I mean, maybe it wasn't amazing, but I really couldn't think of any bad things in this episode. I think it was just pretty solid the whole way through. And, I mean, that's what I'll say for now, so everyone else can say their thoughts, but I don't have any problems with this episode.
Alright, Coral, would you like to go next, or would you like to wait your turn?
No. My overall thoughts of this episode, it was already said, it was pretty solid. It delivered with the premise that they were going for. We weren't expecting too much, but everything that we got, it was very well executed. Even Team Rockets in the episode was very well executed. At least this episode wasn't as controversial as the last week's. But I like the character. I like the development. Sobble, my boy, you were done justice. And we didn't got Lucario, so that's automatically at least 5 out of 10 for me.
Alright, Media, would you like to give your brief thought?
All right. So, the episode was just fine in my opinion. I thought it was entertaining. Glad to finally get some focus on Sobble, who we didn't get any kind of development since its capture. And once again, I'm very excited for more James Bond references, even though I know Kuro and I talked about it before the podcast, but it's weird that it's called Mission Impossible when I am very sure, I know Zorro said otherwise, but I am very sure that Inteleon is based off of James Bond.
Inteleon is based on spies, not specifically James Bond.
But yeah, those are my thoughts.
So what a time, what bad timing for an episode like this to come out, because it wasn't bad. Now, I'm not going to go as far as to say it was good, but it definitely was better than expected. I'll say that much. One thing I liked the Sobble moments. I'm glad he ended up not evolving, and I don't know, he seemed like able to hold his own, which was nice to see after, you know, how he's been the rest of the series. I did not like Team Rocket in this episode. I don't like Team Rocket in this series at all, but in this episode I wish like spoiler alert for some, but I was in the reaction with Ben and Zach this week, and right whenever Team Rocket appeared, we all I'd like simultaneously like sighed like really loudly. So you know, I guess that's a testament to Team Rocket in this series and how most people don't really like them. But I kind of wish they weren't here for the whole episode. But I guess, like, for what it's worth, they did serve a purpose this time, which was nice.
So you're saying that you had a collective thought of sheer disappointment.
Pretty much.
Can't lie. Can't agree with that. But Tyrone,
That's the majority.
Tyrone, what were your initial brief thoughts of the episode?
Okay, so if you all have watched the PokePod, anybody here who has watched the PokePod, you guys usually know I'm more of the, I've unfortunately made a persona as the more negative critic of Pokemon Journeys. And I don't want that persona personally. It's just unfortunately the way these episodes have been recently. Pros to it, Sobble was adorable in this episode. I can't get mad at that. It's very harmless, adorable, just like antics. And in the end of the day, when it comes to starter treatment, that's one of the things that they did try to at least focus on. I think they did a better job with it here than Score Bunny. And it does show how far Go has gotten as a trainer, where back then, when Score Bunny wanted to learn Ember, Go was very reluctant to him just learning mastering double kick. Whereas here, he's doing whatever he can to try to like improvise for Sobble's growth as a character. But that's great. That's good. I even liked Inteleon because it did the whole thing where most lizards have the gland that goes over their eye while they close their eye. And that's Inteleon's defense against Sobble crying. Because Sobble, when he cries, gives off this like thing that gets in people's eyes that makes them cry. So naturally, Inteleon growing up and being the adult version of Sobble has a countermeasure for it. So I do like those two things. Downside, Pokemon Journeys is known to be doing this thing where in order to make one character competent, they have to make the other character suck in comparison. So we run into this awkward situation where Cinderace can't break the cage that he's trapped in, but when Sobble gets back, he suddenly can. But that, and also I don't like Team Rocket showing up as the conflict twice. That means the writers just couldn't find an original conflict for Sobble to face. So in order to induce character development, Team Rocket has to attack them twice. So it's just, that bugs me too. But because there's pros and cons to it, the episode more or less just sort of neutrals itself out. And that's kind of how I am right now, just in a state of neutral.
All right. And Zano, I wonder what your thoughts on this episode is.
Well, this episode was really good in a lot of regards, but in my opinion, I wouldn't hold it as in high of a regard as some other people here, mainly because the episode, while having some really good aspects, such as Sobble, in my opinion, Sobble has easily become my favorite new Pokemon of the series in Pokemon Journeys. I think it's better than all of Ash's Pokemon. I think it's better than Cinderace and Lucario. That's just my opinion. I think we got some great development for Sobble in today's episode. However, I just thought the episode was kind of formulaic, and I felt like they should have spent more time on Sobble learning from Inteleon, but really that's just me.
Alright. And now for my brief thoughts on this episode, and then we could get into the meat of the discussions. Overall, I think this was a fine episode. Didn't really find that many complaints, although the Cinderace thing, I'm gonna tackle that when I get to that, but other than that though, I actually did enjoy Sobble in this episode, and god dang it, Trey. And I saw his text. Okay, I saw his text. Just got something to eat. Great.
Mm-hmm.
Glad to see you.
Just go ahead.
Mhm.
Continue with what you're saying.
Right. Overall, though, I gotta say this episode was. It's the same thing what many people say is like Journey's in this weird middle ground. Was like an episode could be either good or bad, and this episode to me, it's good but not the best. If that makes any sense, like it's a good episode, but not one that like is like a high tier episode. If that makes any sense, you guys understand? Get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
very
we get-
mid. It's very mid.
Alright. Now then, now that we got our brief start and out of the way, I think we got 40 in depth in this episode. So with that said, I will be obviously be starting my my synopsis episode, and I hope to God I don't screw up. All right, so this episode.
Oh, good. We're human, man.
All right, thank you, Crasher. This episode, the episode kicks off with Ash and Go at Sakuragi's lab, and they learned that there was a movie shoot happening near the same area where Ash caught Gengar, or met Gengar in that one episode. So when they head off, we actually get a call. We actually get a reference character, and this is that one character, the director from the Ditto episode. Anyone remembers that episode? Because I barely remember that episode. Anyways, while they're trying to film, Italian winds up appearing, but when Team Rocket sees it, and they obviously want to catch it because it's an Italian, who wouldn't want an Italian? This is where Sobble gets idolized because of how Italian's strength shows off against Team Rocket. After that, Sobble wants to train so that way he can stop being a little crying bitch. And we actually do have a nice, cute little wholesome training scene. I actually like this training scene. So after the little training moment, we learned that Team Rocket stole one of the producers of Pokemon, and they go try to find them all secret spy movie-esque setting. So when they go in, they get trapped in the cage. I still question why Cinere's didn't just use Blaze Cake, even though I mentioned that when I watched the episode with Trey. Anyways, Sobble miraculously wasn't caught, and because of that, it uses training that he learned from Go by using his water gun to make himself invisible. And during the process, it winds up learning U-turn in the process. I think that was U-turn. That was U-turn, right?
It was
Yes,
your turn.
indeed. Yeah.
Thank you. So because
The translation it's called round trip, but roughly translated they call it Dragonfly Turnaround,
yeah,
which is actually a cool name, by the way.
That got me confused because I thought it was Dragon Tail. I actually got confused by that. Anyways,
I got confused too during the live stream, so don't worry.
I'm glad. Anyways, after that moment, Ash and Go miraculously get out because Sobble was the only one they needed. Apparently, don't know how that makes sense. Anyways, Team Rocket get blasted off. The Gothita gets reunited with the trainer. And Italian's impressed of how much Sobble was shown at bravery, and we get this cool ending scene with Sobble looking up to Italian, which I'm looking forward to. And that's pretty much the episode. Alright, so I know we went through a brief synopsis overall, but now I think it's now we can finally go into the full-fledged discussion. So, going into detail with this episode, I'll be honest, I was actually kind of scared for this episode. The reason I was scared is because the last few episodes haven't been really that great. Well, they've been okay, but a majority of the fan base, us included, kind of had mixed thoughts on each episode, like the Dracovish capture, the Farfetch, the English pretty much anyone can agree that's a mid episode.
They all had a little bit of controversy.
They had some shape or form of an issue, which a majority of us can agree on. This episode, to me, I was pretty worried because I was like, okay, this episode because for me, and I'm sure we can all agree on this too. We want Journeys to be a good series. That's not even the issue. We want Journeys to succeed because they have a unique gimmick. They have a unique concept for the series. The issue is that they're not using it to the fullest potential, and you guys can agree with me or not if you guys want to, but for me, I think it's because of the episodic formula they set up for themselves. That's why I feel like they're kind of screwing up.
I agree with that there, to be honest with you. I'm someone that's a huge fanboy of Pokemon journeys. I'm not gonna bullshit you guys when I say that. I am a huge fan of stuff like that. No, I'm a huge fan, but it's like just because if you're a huge fan of something, that doesn't mean you can't be critical of it. For me, the episodic formula, it's really interesting because the episodes aren't terrible, but it's not a series, if you know what I mean. It seems like that it's based on episodes rather than based on series progression. To have Go's goal of wanting to work his way up to Mew, so he's catching every Pokemon that he comes across. That's been expanded upon quite a bit, especially lately. A lot of the focus is on Go, and I can understand why, because it's Ash had 7 generations of development, and Go's kind of like the new kid on the block, kind of like the new flavor, so to speak. So, he definitely needs to have a lot of development behind it. So, what's the point of Ash then? Because he's just kind of, off to the side, so to speak. So, I think we need to see more of Ash developing as well in the series. Aside from my own opinions, I'm always open-minded to understand the flaws in Pokemon journeys as much as I love Pokemon journeys and will even defend Pokemon journeys from warranted thoughts and remarks about it. It's I do understand the actual criticisms that go along with it. So I'm definitely with you there, Goggles, for sure.
Just adding something to what Crasher said. The episodes that because of having the structure that they have, because of the narrative, self-contained, they work. They don't work when you realize that they are part or should be part of a much overall narrative for the series. Also, hello Infamous, what's up, man?
Oh, Infamous is here.
Oh, Infamous!
He has arrived.
I have.
So, continuing on. Yeah, the episodes, they work as episodes. But when you consider that the episodes are part of a series, it kind of derails the consistency and the overall narrative. And I have to agree with you, Crasher, because Go is the new kid on the block. Yeah, he needs development to later on help Koharu with her development. That's right. But when you consider that Ash, it's also in the show, and they have the dual protagonist gimmick or dynamic or whatever, and this is how you write this is how you write Ash after he won the league. This is how you write Champion Ketchum. No, it diminishes his character. Ash's whole character, it's about Pokemon battling. If we don't see him battle, how can we get invested? How can we care? Either write Ash right or don't write him at all. At least that's my hot take. I watched the show for Go and Koharu most likely. Ash is overstaying his welcome in the show. Just retire the guy. Just retire the guy.
You can call it a hot take, but it's a hot take that I have some agreeing points on. Ash's ultimate goal is to beat Champion Leon. There has some progression in that been lately, I think. You know what I mean? So I definitely agree with you 100%.
If they focused a little bit more on continuity, this wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, in regards to that, I love the aspect that Ash, for example, everyone's saying, "Oh, Go is growing up too fast," and yada yada. Here's the thing: Go is also a protagonist, like Ash, not a companion. Like Dawn in DP, he's a protagonist. Of course, that he needs to develop faster in some capacity because Go is Ash's equal. So, in a way, they need to fasten the process of Go's development to be on par with Ash. And organically, it might be a little weird, but think about it. Go is being mentored by Ash on the champion status. Of course that the kid is very knowledgeable and analytical. Of course he's going to keep up with everything in a much faster pace. At least that's my understanding of it.
All
I
right,
wanna
should
hear
we get
about-
back to our reviews on the episode?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, so we have a list here, and I think next up is Ion. So if you want to start off.
I mean, I can't really say. I feel like I don't know. Okay, so I guess outright, I would also say this episode isn't amazing, and it's probably just like average on my ranking. I put it like in the middle. So it's just like a very average episode. It's formulaic, like someone else said earlier, and I don't know, like in the end, like as much as I did like it, like after watching it, it's not going to become one of those like episodes that I look back on and like, wow, that was an amazing episode. It's not going to be one of those episodes that I look back on every so often, you know. Like I said earlier, I didn't like Team Rocket in this episode because I feel like they overstayed their welcome, and it just kind of, I guess, like Kuro said, it just seemed like they were too lazy to write in an actual conflict. Like they could have done more with the movie what am I trying to say? The movie set, I guess, like the movie like thematic. But other than inspiring Sobble, the Intellion didn't really do much. It also, like, I wish it seems like they could be more creative, because we've definitely seen the whole storyline of, you know, a movie being filmed and then Team Rocket and Ash and the gang being like intervening, and the film director being like, no, keep rolling, this is good.
Quick question: wasn't that the thing that happened in OG? Like the old...
I think like it was either the original series
multiple times.
It was either the original series or AG that I'm thinking of, but I'm sure it happened another time aside from that. But like
it happened in XY too.
Yeah, exactly. So like, it's such
Pikachu movie stuff.
Literally, there's a line that Meowth said something.
I love that episode.
Meowth said something about something being cliche, and I was like, yeah, this whole thing that is happening right now is a cliche in the Pokemon
Welcome
anime.
to Pokemon Journeys.
Yeah, I think it's safe to assume this has happened at least once, either every series of Pokemon,
every so often,
series of Pokemon.
Every so often it happens, but like,
the episode in question for OG is the Psyduck and Wigglytuff episode.
Yeah, the run right before the Hollywood episode. But like, I just wish they wouldn't reuse the same freaking plot lines all the time. It was basically the same, the whole movie. You know, Team Rocket interjecting, and like Tyrone said, it was dumb how freaking suddenly after Sobble learned U-turn, they're able to break out of the cage. Like it's just all these inconsistencies, I guess, are really drag it down for me. But like I said, I did like the Sobble moments. I liked him learning U-turn, and you know that kind of balances it out, I guess. It's just an average episode, I would say.
I just have a quick question: why didn't Cinderace just use Pyroball to break the cage?
Yes, we are all asking the same question.
Because his trainer was there, duh.
I mean, I even said earlier when I spoke with TSS and the others when I was watching the episode, I'm like, not too long ago, Ash's Farfetch literally broke a steel-beamed girder. So this shouldn't even be...
Yeah, exactly.
No,
Yeah, that's what
I'm like, why did he just not bring Farfetch today?
I brought that up also. Like, why the heck can Farfetch break through a freaking steel beam but not get through the cage? Or maybe the freaking pseudo-legendary Dragonite that he has. Or maybe the freaking Draco super strong.
Or Gengar could just
Dracovic, or the Gengar that can just fade
Lucario,
through.
for that matter.
Yeah, Lucario even.
Exactly.
Or
Guys, it's
no,
very
he's got
simple.
Cinderace, he's got Flygon, he's got all these strong Pokemon.
Didn't Pikachu canonically like break through most of
and I'm
Team
pretty sure
Rocket's paths with Iron Tail?
it seemed like Pikachu was the one who broke through because his tail was glowing whenever they broke through the cage.
Guys,
So-
it's clearly obvious that Go dropped out of school, so he never learned physics.
Oh my! Shut up. Actually, it's your turn. Actually.
Shut up and don't.
Unbreakable Cage served as a plot device for Sobble's development, which I found kind of weird. Now, especially like now that we're like really, really like kind of taking a deep dive into that scene right there. I'm thinking to myself because like I asked the same question on stream. It's like, why can't Cinderace just Pyroball that shit? You know what I'm saying? And I didn't even think as far ahead until now. What about all of their other Pokemon? Like what about like you said with Galarian Farfetch'd, being able to break a freaking Girder Steel Beam. Like where was that? Where was the Golden Boy Lucario? Where was the newly caught Dracovish? Like
aside from the obvious problems when it comes to that whole thing, I do have aside from it being Pokemon just wants it because of the story, I do have a possible thing to say about that, but I'll wait for it to be my turn because like I said, this is I'm connecting a lot of this to James Bond and Mission Impossible, so I'll explain it a bit.
Okay. Oh, I'm curious now.
It is Alex's turn now. So, Alex.
All right.
Say what you
So,
want to say.
I feel like we probably should have just given all of our thoughts at the beginning instead of doing like quick thoughts because I don't know. I don't really have much to say. This episode was good. That's all. I enjoyed the episode more than I think all of you guys did.
Right there.
I enjoyed this episode more than I think all of you guys did. I just thought it was a nice episode.
There's just some problems with it.
Yeah, there are definitely problems which we've mentioned. Overall, I thought it was good. I thought Sobble was great. I actually just last night I started up a new playthrough of Shield to use Sobble in just because of that episode. But yeah, overall good episode. Oh, also one thing I want to add is that because Sobble didn't evolve, I have a feeling that Journeys is not gonna like rush evolutions anymore. You know how they kind of rush Cinderace and Lucario's evolutions. So I think that now that like this happens, I'm pretty sure Farfetch'd won't be evolving in his next episode. I feel like they're gonna kind of slow down on the evolutions, especially since Farfetch'd is Ash's last Pokemon that can evolve. They might want to save it for later. At least I hope so. Yeah, that's all I have to say. I think Zan was up, so I'll see you guys whenever I get to talk again.
All right. Well, since it seems like this is kind of like every time, I'm gonna turn my review into half of a Journeys rant. Okay. Not a big Journeys rant, but a small Journeys rant. So we have this episode, right? Mm-hmm. It was advertised as an episode to showcase development for Sobble and to showcase a new Pokemon, being that of Inteleon. And Inteleon showed up for, I think, about a total of not even 10 minutes of the episode. So I think while the best part about the entire episode, by far, though, was Sobble's development. I like how it's still definitely the timid, cute Pokemon it was before, but now it's a little bit more confident in itself. It definitely is my favorite Pokemon. Like I said before, in the series, it's my favorite Pokemon. It's precious, and if you want to hurt it, you will die. But, like, I think just using Team Rocket twice, like everyone was saying before, it was just kind of lazy. And to be honest, I think the episode definitely should have focused more on the bond between that Sobble and that Inteleon. But instead, it was kind of just like, oh, here comes Team Rocket. They've taken another Pokemon hostage. Sobble somehow miraculously saves the day. That's considered development when it's been handled a lot better in previous seasons when it comes to Pokemon's developments. I can name a bunch, but I'm not going to because I don't want to waste time. So I think just overall, the episode was, if I had to describe it, very formulaic. It's not one of my favorite episodes of Journeys, but it wasn't anywhere near one of the worst episodes either.
So you'll watch it again.
I think it's a good Journeys episode and a bad Pokemon episode.
Ooh, I'm excited to hear this.
I mean,
wait, what?
It's because, and I saw this problem coming. I saw this problem coming a mile away when you have the disjointed catching, developing, and introduction of certain characters in this series, and it's like The issue is Journeys is very much wanting to do like an episode of the week situation where there's a new adventure every day or there's a certain topic or conflict every day. But you run into that issue though of Pokemon being an anime where things have to be taken into account. That means if something happens last episode, it needs to be relevant to the overarching story that's taking place. So even if you take away like the badge system that Ash has to do and replace it with this ranking system that World Champions brought, then you're going to raise questions of how Ash makes it to certain ranks and things like that, much how we ran into last time. If Go catches Pokemon, he's got to develop them. So we got to run into episodes like these. And unfortunately, Pokemon's had this bad habit now where it's like if we can't think of a decent conflict for the Pokemon to develop naturally, then we'll yeet Team Rocket into the plot for the sake of development. So, like I think someone brought it up earlier, this is supposed to be Inteleon's like debut episode, and he's only in like the first half and the final half of the episode. He's in the first half of the episode, and then in the last like 3 minutes of the episode.
Act 1 and Act 2, not in Act 2.
I wouldn't have mind if after the Team Rocket conflict, Ash and Go had stayed on set. Like the director wants Ash and Go to be a part of this movie, ironically. And comically, Ash and Go are trying to get out of it. But at the same time, they're like, we might as well do it. We got nothing better to do today. And Sobble likes Inteleon. So let's try to kill two birds with one stone, be a part of this movie and develop Sobble into a badass. I find it funny how I almost said a Japanese name, Daruma, Darmanitan. I find it funny how Darmanitan induces character development in Go's starter Pokemon. Because Scorbunny had the same issue with Darmanitan where he was showing off that he could use fire moves while Scorbunny couldn't. Literally, it's the same conflict. The only difference here is Darmanitan's like, Sobble's scared. And Sobble's like, I'll prove that I'm not scared. Literally, Darmanitan induces plot in starter Pokemon. Like,
now imagine when Grookey shows up and they'll have a monkey debacle.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
It feels, if anything, I think that kind of adds to the whole formulaic recipe that you guys stated earlier. It's like, it feels like the plot gets nowhere until convenient plot inducing Darmanitan shows up, and that's his name from now on, trademark. Shows up and has to and make the plot happen. Hey, I'm here to make something happen. In a way, Darmanitan's like the fans.
Okay, so what you're saying is that Darmanitan, just like Team Rocket, it's not a character; it's a plot device.
Yeah, that's what unfortunately Darmanitan has devolved into. He has become a plot device for starter Pokemon to get their shit together. Because without him, Scorbunny didn't have the influence to learn Ember, and Sobble didn't have the influence to better itself. And it's really weird to watch. Now, this could be viewed as coincidental like writing, but to me it's a pattern. And I'm just like, I wish Ash and Go had stayed on the movie set a little longer and you played around with that element rather than head back to the park and try to train, because it just, at that point, the episode felt empty. Literally, the parts of the episode that people remember the most are going to be the movie set and the cave that they were in. The park was just sort of there.
I definitely agree with that. I feel like them staying on the movie set and Sobble learning from the Inteleon while filming the movie, because the whole thing is that the Inteleon was a star, would have, in my opinion, been a much more interesting episode than
Inteleon's trying, Inteleon's doing stunts and stuff like that, and Sobble's trying to imitate those stunts, but it's Sobble, so he can't pull them off. So so they're trying to make Sobble like get better at those things. And then he could have learned, like during all of that, he could have learned maybe there also, one thing I want to note is that normally when a Pokemon learns a new move in the series, they learn a move that's relevant to get them out of the current conflict that they're in. Like, for example, if like, say, I remember Pikachu learning Electro Web, I think was used as a defense mechanism the first time around to shield it against an opponent. The net was over Pikachu and thus blocked what otherwise would have been it getting hit by Mimikyu's attack, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So Sobble learning U-turn felt like it did nothing.
Kinda not. Maybe it's more for a hint to the future, but I'll say that on my part.
It helped us learn that Sobble's a hit and run type of fighter now. But in the situation they were currently in, I don't think it helped Sobble out of the situation. It would have been different if like there was a Pokemon that Team Rocket like trapped in a certain way, and when Sobble used U-turn, it switched those two in place, and thus.
If I may say something, Tyrone, I actually said something on this on Twitter when we got the episode title revealed.
Yeah.
Because I was telling people in the community that I want for Sobble to develop, but with a move and not an evolution. And I actually said U-turn because of the hit and run tactic. I want for Sobble to actually use this move because it's a bug move, maybe against Grookey or against Mew. Who knows, maybe in the future. But I actually would love the idea that if not U-turn, maybe if instead of Gothita they kidnapped Cinderace, he would use Liquidation, like an Aqua Tail version of Liquidation to cut to the nets. Or maybe even Sucker Punch, like he's predicting attacks from the opponents and then striking back. But I guess that U-turn does the job for now.
I just feel also like with the cage situation, I just feel it was very lazy to just put them in a cage to make that. I can understand they wanted to make a situation where Ash and Go are just unable to participate in a battle. But at that point, you needed to subdue Ash and Go in a way that made a little bit more sense so that we can actually have focus on Sobble, because the stakes don't seem high at all when the only thing separating Sobble from Ash and Go is this weak-ass cage that we have like 5 Pokemon that are able to break easily. It's not even like the Pikachu situation where Team Rocket puts Pikachu in a rubber bag and it can't escape because the rubber blocks electricity. So it's like, I don't know, it just always feels like it feels like Journeys doesn't want to put in that work to make Pokemon develop naturally to the point where it relates to the current situation. I mean, granted, like I said, it's very convenient. And granted, like I said, the pros of this episode was mostly just aesthetic factors. Sobble's very cute, Inteleon's very cool. And the more I think about it, and the more I think about it, and the more I talk about it, the less I'm starting to feel about this episode in terms of development, because we're praising development for a Pokemon that got caught like episodes ago.
26 over F here.
26 episodes ago. So it's like we're praising development that should have been happened rather than development that is currently happening.
Yeah, this is another thing, and I maybe in a little bit we can talk about it because I still want to get through everybody's
go ahead. The next person can go. I'm pretty much
reviews of the episode, but I'll touch on it in a little bit more in depth. But like this episode could have and should have been placed in the timeline much earlier, like in probably like the 30s.
Yeah, I mean, like overall, like I said, it's harmless. It's not a giant plot episode. It's really just Sobble learning U-turn the episode, but there's obviously some cracks that are very seeable. You just have to make the choice whether you want to acknowledge them or not, just simply because, Sobble's cute. But somebody else can go. I think I've said my 2 cents.
Right.
All right, I feel like I think it's now time.
I believe it's now Infamous.
I think it's Infamous.
Yeah, go ahead, Infamous.
Is it my turn? Okay. As far as the
Actually,
episode,
first off, this is like your first time saying anything, so you can like introduce yourself if you would like.
Oh yeah, of course. How's it going, everyone? Infamous Trainer here. I'm super excited to be a part of the PokeChat live. I think this is going to be like really fun. Again, I'm super excited to be here because it's Pokemon and it's cool to be always talking with fans of the series. So yeah, I'm super excited about it. When it comes to the episode, I actually I enjoyed the episode for what it was. I didn't go into this episode also thinking like this is going to be super plot heavy or anything like that. I kind of knew with this episode is going to be a solo Sobble development episode. So I kept my expectations low already when I saw this and saw the preview for it, and it kind of met the low expectations that I had. I definitely kind of like everyone was saying so far. Inteleon was probably the part that I was looking forward to the most, as it's a Pokemon that is my least favorite out of the bunch of the Galar starters, but it is one that I still enjoy. And we barely got this, Pokemon beside a couple snipe shot scenes, and he comes back, little forehead touch, and we don't see him till the end of the episode. So it kind of sucks we don't get to see more of this character and more development of this, specific Inteleon. It almost kind of feels like we don't need to see this Pokemon in the future because it's kind of done what it's needed to do. It showed up, poke Sobble in the forehead, and then for some reason it remembers that and learns U-turn. So it's a little bit weird in that situation, but I think Sobble's development was fantastic. It was cool to see Go, training more of his Pokemon. But I think Tyrone brought up a really great, plot point that I didn't even realize is really Darmanitan is there to help develop starter Pokemon. Specifically goes so far as he did the same thing with Scorbunny with the whole fire move. And same thing for Sobble now. I'm still personally team Grookey for Ash, but if Go gets it, I could still see Darmanitan getting Grookey wild up, monkey versus monkey, that kind of beef going on, and developing up that starter as well. But overall, I enjoyed the episode. I just wish we could get more of Inteleon as a whole. Sobble was great. U-turn was a move that I wasn't personally anticipating, but it does go with his new, hit and run move set. And I think the whole cage aspect was actually, that part was stupid because I was watching it as I was like doing dishes and I'm like, why don't they just break the cage with Iron Tail? Like instead, Scorbunny's trying to kick it like a regular person. Like, you're a Pokemon, for Christ's sakes. Kick it with, Blaze Kick, Pyro Ball, anything, quick attack for, Arceus' sake. Just use something else besides your regular feet. And then kind of cutting back over to use that as like a plot point to develop Sobble is kind of weak. So there's certain aspects of the episode I think could be tweaked, fixed, and things of that nature. But overall, it was a good episode. Team Rocket was Team Rocket. I don't really have like an issue with them, I guess. It's just they could have been cut a little bit shorter. I guess they were used for more development there.
May I just say something in regards to the cage scene? Now that I'm thinking about it,
Yeah.
As you said, maybe Cinderace could have used Blaze Kick or Double Kick. Like it's in a cage, so in a way, both fire and fighting, it defeats Steel in some capacity. My mind was like a Pyro Ball inside of a cage. It would hurt Go, Pikachu, and Ash. But then I remembered that in the Dracovish episode, Cinderace can control the size of the Pyro Ball because he melted the scientist. So he could have just like, yo, Pyro Ball, go to the steel bar and be there for a little.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
he could have melted like one bar and they could have exited. Like, not even trying.
It's the lack of inconsistency with Pokemon journeys as far as like moves, idea, plot points. Because exactly that, right? Cinderace can control how big he wants to make, how strong he wants to make the Pyro Ball. In that situation, he could have still done that, got them out the cage, and then even had a better connection of Go leading Sobble in the episode with the battle. I think that would have been a lot better in the long run to really, again, expand Go, because Go still doesn't have the world's best track record. A lot of fans still don't like the character. So I think developing up him more, especially on the battle side, would help him anyway. So again, I enjoyed the overall episode. I think it was good, but I think since my expectations were low, I overall enjoyed it. But I think if the consistency of these kind of episodes keep happening, it's going to be rough on some development of some of the Pokemon across Ash and Go.
Yeah, I definitely think that like just Journeys overall has not really been delivering for the past couple of episodes, but then there's a topic for another time. But yeah, you brought up a lot of really good points there. So I think next up is it Crasher or is it Pedro?
Not sure. We'll give it to Pedro.
All right, Pedro,
Go
go
ahead,
right
Miguel.
ahead.
Okay. Well, okay. I'm trying to decide what to say that wasn't already said. I guess one thing that I could say that was a little different was, well, seeing how I'm not a big fan of the Sobble line to begin with, except for Sobble itself. I'm glad to say this episode actually made me intrigued of Inteleon. That's one thing. I liked its style. I liked its attitude. I liked the whole Sasuke touching Sakura's forehead touch that it gave to Sobble kind of thing. Very cute, I suppose. I enjoyed the little. One thing I will say that I'll go gaga over is the whole like hiding around playing hide and seek as training thing for Sobble, and I'm like, that is so you. That's so cute. That's so lovely. I like that. That is. I want to see more of that. Just Sobble being like playing, but the playing is part of his training. I like that idea. I find myself in a very weird situation where it's similar to how I feel about Rowlet, but there is a different thing where Rowlet also gave these kind of feelings back in Sun and Moon where it would kind of like disappear and like show up and like surprise people and then attack them kind of thing. And in my mind, I was like, okay, that's leading up to it evolve, but it not evolving, and it's like that. But here, it's a weird case where you could see signs of Sobble showcasing things that it could do later on if it were to evolve. But the difference is I don't want it to evolve. Meanwhile, back then I wanted Rowlet to evolve. So that's actually something that I find very funny. Without talking about it too much, because I know that it wasn't... I made a couple of jokes about it. Don't worry, I'm going to hold off on those. But I will say that for an episode called Mission Impossible, I would have thought we'd see a little bit more Mission Impossible like references or something. Like maybe we have Sobble and Inteleon, two Pokemon that can cling on walls. And one of the most iconic scenes is, you know, like, is them in the movies, in the Mission Impossible movies, like climbing walls to reach like some sort of point. So I was thinking, okay, maybe we're going to see that. Or something a bit more spy-esque, because Zora has mentioned that it's like that. Yes, Inteleon is based off of spies, so at least the movie that they were shooting maybe could have been more secret agent-y. But aside from that, like, there really isn't much of this episode. This was a fine episode, nothing wrong with it. It was just okay, nothing special. It's an episode that we should have gotten earlier. This has all been said. Team Rocket is boring. We've all said this. Literally, the most interesting thing I could add to the conversation is another spy joke, but I know people are tired of it. So, Crasher, up to you, buddy.
All right. Just refresh my memory. Like, what question or comments would you like for me to make from my own perspective?
Basically, anything about the episode.
Okay. Well, to be honest with you, there's not really much else that can be said that hasn't already been said. I will say that as far as like my opinion, I guess, on Sobble and whether or not it should evolve, like we saw at the very end, like the end, the to be continued part, that Sobble now aspires to be like Inteleon. So I'm thinking, well, on one hand, could that hint towards it evolving in the future? And, you know, I'm thinking, well, okay, like if it wants to be exactly like Inteleon, you know, being able to learn Snipe Shot and all that stuff, then yeah, it would have to evolve into Inteleon. But what if it doesn't have to evolve into Inteleon to be like Inteleon that it met? Like it could have, you know, different things about it that makes it really stand out. Kind of like with Rowlet as an example. Rowlet, is a powerhouse, but it hasn't evolved. Yet it was able to defeat the likes of Decidueye and Braviary in the Alola League and stuff like that. So I definitely think that Sobble has that potential. Same with Galarian Farfetch'd as well. Like I made an opinion about that in one of my past live streams, whatever. But like I think that Sobble doesn't need to evolve in order for it to develop and be really good. It just needs to have more development. And to the point earlier was made, yes, they took a very, very long time for Sobble to finally get some development. Like, it got caught in episode, what was that, like episode 28? Was it? I can't quite remember.
28.
Episode 28. And we are at episode 54. So, you know what I mean? It took over 24 episodes for Sobble to get one episode about it. So,
not to mention that Sobble is always with Go, even if we don't see him.
So I was thinking it's like they waited quite a while for Sobble to get like any I guess development, which, you know, I think better late than never. Like, that's kind of like one of my things about it. Like, you know, that's kind of one of my little quirks. You know, I always think, oh, better late than never. But then again, it's like, on the other token, it's like, well, if we say that about anything, then like we could be 200 episodes in to Pokemon Journeys before we have Ash, say, develop his Galarian Farfetch, or develop as in like have another Pokemon World Championships match. I think by that point, people would probably rage quit if that approach was taken to the extreme. So I understand both sides, but at the same time, it's like they definitely could have done this a lot sooner.
Mm.
All right, so I think now all we have left is Trey and Kuro.
All right, Trey, go ahead.
Go for it, Trey.
Yo, what's up, everyone? Trey Melvin here, and I just gotta make this quick joke. James Bond in Telebond.
I get that joke.
Sorry, Trey. Apparently, that's not allowed.
Why?
Keep the smash happening.
Oh no!
All right, Kuro, you were saying, Kuro.
All right, so I know a lot. We've already mentioned a lot about this episode, but a few things I want to mention is actually going into this episode. I believe that Sobble was actually going to evolve. I'm actually okay that he didn't, because I think this was some good development. Also, looking at U-Turn, I feel like this is like Sobble will evolve into Drizzile at one point. And considering the fact that Drizzile is the lazy Pokemon, you see Sobble now using this move to like its advantage with it being scared. I feel like what they were doing is when it evolves into Drizzile and starts to become lazy, they're gonna have U-Turn be used where it uses it to get out of battling, and maybe that's where Go and Sobble's or Drizzile's development will come. It's gonna be pretty interesting if that's how they use U-Turn. Like, turn it into where it was helping them and then it's going to hurt them later on. As for the whole cage thing, anyone else notice how conveniently Go put Sobble down right before they get caught?
Yes.
Normally, Sobble disappears on his shoulder and that's it. But no, he specifically puts him down. It was just too convenient. And it's funny how,
Stay here, Sobble. Plot will happen. I know it.
Yeah. It's funny, like how you mentioned Cinderace couldn't break the cage on its own, but when Sobble comes in, apparently he's the Incredible Hulk and destroys the cage. It's like, it was just way too convenient. Easily Go could return Cinderace, called him out of like his Pokeball outside of the cage. A lot could have happened differently. Overall, I think what's going to happen is they're going to take an Incineroar, Torracat type of route. Where we Drizzile through most of the series, but maybe evolves an Inteleon towards the end. But I think that for the most part, it will stay a Drizzile. I feel like the reason they introduced this Inteleon was because, to show it off. Like, okay, this is the Inteleon person in the series. If they want to give him Inteleon at the end, they can. Like, it'll be a nice treat, but I think he'll stay as a Drizzile through the rest of the series. Overall, I rated this episode a 7 out of 10. It was a good episode in my opinion. It's just, it has its issues, but it's better than most Journeys episodes. I'm glad they're finally giving development to Sobble and Farfetch. Like, a whole freaking 30 episodes later, but still, it's good that we're finally getting the development that they need. Hopefully, this is a good sign for the rest of Journeys. Like, we will get more development for the other Pokemon. All right, Kuro, you're up.
Okay, so now's my turn. So, you ranked a 7 out of 10, right?
Yep.
Okay, that's also my ranking. I think I would rank this higher if this was an earlier episode or if it wasn't the Journeys episode.
Agreed earlier.
Okay, so I actually love the episode. Like the Pokemon start to play ball in the park. They are showing Pokemon playing, like they are not shafted in that way. Cubone using the ball as a baseball bat, and I'm like, yo, this is Lucario. This is Corina's Lucario is going to learn Bone Rush. At least I hope for that. Yeah, the episode continues and Renji talks about Go and Ash is like, yo, what the hell's that movie? Because Ash doesn't know anything about cinematography. And Renji, when Renji shows him the digital screen in that PowerPoint presentation, he like the Pokemon are in the background from the evolution of the Sword and Shield games. I actually like that. And the moment that Renji showed the image of Drizzile, I was like, yeah, showing Drizzile now, that means that Sobble will not evolve. They go to the setting, the warehouse district, because that's inspired in real life Vermilion, Yokohama. That's the red brick warehouse district as well, where Ash met Gengar. They have the movie. We see the Gothita and the Gardevoir, and the moment that I saw two Pokemon of Sabrina, it reminded me, oh shit, Sabrina is an actress in PokeStar Studios. Why isn't Sabrina in this episode? But we had Jacqueline, so there's that. And then we have Team Rocket having two Pokemon from Butch and Cassidy, the Houndour and the Poochyena. So,
Oh, he's gonna love that.
yeah, there is that reference. As you guys were saying, like Inteleon was showcased only as a plot device in Act 1 and in Act 3, and only in the beginning and the end, so maybe Act 1 and 5, he wasn't in the middle of the episode. This could have been better if it was like in OS with the Psyduck and the Wigglytuff, which is interesting because the storyboarder of this episode will also write the Love is a Psyduck episode, so maybe they could have squeezed out that reference. Anyways, I do love this episode. It's decent at best. I cannot rank it more than a 7. I do like the hide and seek aspect. The brotherly bond between Sobble and Cinderace is shown, which I really do appreciate it. In regards to Sobble becoming a Drizzile, I was scared for a moment. Because the moment when Sobble finishes his training, we see the Gateway Park. That's the place where Scorbunny evolved, and I shivered. I was fucking scared in that moment because no. We saw Drizzile in the beginning. I don't want to see Drizzile now. Thank goodness we didn't. At least for now. If Go gets a Drizzile, it will be most likely in the end or like in Act 3 or Season 3 of Journeys or something like that. At least I hope so, because I want for Cinderace to give Sobble and maybe even Grookey the aspect of don't do the same mistake that I did or something, or maybe even Go Cinderace being like Ash's Charizard and Sobble and Grookey being like Bulbasaur and Squirtle in some capacity. However, I'm not against the idea of Go having Drizzile and later on Thwackey, because Drizzile is very smart, but also very lazy. It's basically a procrastinator Pokemon, but the bubbles that he creates and tosses to the opponents, that's like how Go tosses Pokeballs, and Thwackey with this wooden sticks, it serves as baseball bats to reproject directions. So they have potential for Thwackey and Drizzile to be like a power duo to help out Cinderace in capturing Pokemon. As long as they don't become a Rillaboom or Inteleon, that's fine, because it will diminish Cinderace, because Cinderace is Ash's Pikachu in some capacity for Go. But yeah, U-turn, maybe you will lose against Grookey or maybe against Mew. I like the move U-turn. I don't think we've seen the move very often. Maybe they will use move U-turn. For example, Sobble is always out of the Pokeball. In a battle, Sobble uses U-turn and switch around for Cinderace to show up later on, because they apparently don't want Cinderace to always be out of the Pokeball, which is kind of an issue. Yeah, Team Rocket being in two conflicts and one, I honestly don't. I like the idea that they are using Team Rocket to develop Sobble, but plot device villains. Nah, it doesn't work. There were those Meowth robots and those Meowth drones, and I'm like, what the hell is this? But yeah, the overall episode, I think it just misses. Like they had the premise, but it misses direction. And I think that Inteleon and the movie setting and the movie like helping Sobble again with the Manson Impossible and whatever, like spy climbing, maybe lasers or snipe shots or whatever. And I realized something now that I'm talking about the whole Sabrina, Pokestar Studios, and the Psychic Pokemon. I realize now that Luke's Golett and Zorua had more development in their movie episodes in Best Wishes than Sobble had in... Like, they could have done it. They could have done Sobble in the movie segment like how they did with Golett and Zorua for Luke in Best Wishes, but... This is Journeys. I don't think I have any much thing else to say. It was decent at best. My only expectation that I went for this episode was don't evolve today. Develop in some other capacity. A new move. That's all I'm asking. And I guess that my expectations were met, but they were lowered because, yeah, this is Journeys.
I think like just the format I had in my head when, you know, I'm seeing like they're doing this movie setup thing is like I was reminded of the Helllluoocha episode in XY where Helllluoocha is in a movie with Shiny Helllluoocha. And the director had no problem having Ash and the others involved in that because like Ash had a Helllluoocha. So they're in the movie now. So because of that, I liked the idea that like if the minute they got there, I won't wish Ash and Go had been a part of the movie just because like, oh, we have they have Sobble, which is turns into Inteleon. Maybe they can use that. And they wind up roped into this movie and Sobble gets overwhelmed by like the Pokemon cast that's in the movie. So he ends up getting scared, but he wants to become braver because Inteleon's there. So the entire time is just them filming set. And Team Rocket's there, but they're not causing conflict yet. They're actually actors and actresses because Jessie's whole thing is that she likes acting, and James and Jessie have been shown to be good at disguises anyway. So it's very clear to the audience that Team Rocket's here, but they haven't done anything yet to like induce the conflict. And Team Rocket actually plays along with this whole movie thing until Jessie gets outshined by the chick with the Inteleon, the spy. At this point, she throws a hissy fit, much like Jessie would do in the normal situation, and switches to, fuck it, we're going to steal all the Pokemon. When they do that, they trap Inteleon, Ash, and Go, and everybody's caught up, but Go notices that Sobble's not caught. Why? Because Sobble's been invisible the whole time because he's scared. Go tries to like talk to, he yells out to Sobble and is like, you can do it. You can find a way to overcome this. Use water gun or whatever move you know at the time. Personally, I would have recommended Scald versus U-turn, but it's fine. Or if Inteleon's caught, he uses U-turn and switches places with Inteleon. And because that, Inteleon's able to kick Team Rocket's ass. And then at that point, the conflict could have been solved there. And then they would have been like, hey, your Sobble's special in its own way. And, you know, after that point, we end our episode. That's the format that was in my head. So it bugs me just simply because I know Pokemon has done better. That format I made up isn't that far off from something Pokemon's done before. So it's not even that it's a bad episode to me. I think it's just I've been in a position where I've seen better and they've done better.
Can I add on to that? It's kind of weird how Wobbuffet's been being used in the series as well, because they could have made Team Rocket a bigger challenge for Sobble, where you know, Wobbuffet's Miracle. Why wasn't he using Miracle this whole time? It's like Wobbuffet's really been just there this series. Like
Wobbuffet's always been a problem in Pokemon where it's like an on-again, off-again powerhouse. Because I remember before Team Rocket got Pokemon in XY, Wobbuffet apparently was a beast.
He was a man.
He was training while not in Best Wishes.
Right. That was the joke everybody kept making too.
What was that trained off screen? Lol.
Oh my god.
Because essentially Wobba Fett is a giant like repel stick, so there's no way to actually beat it. I mean, like you can immobilize it, and that's what Froakie winds up doing by throwing Frubbles on it. But you can't beat it in a sense. Either that or it has to take so much damage that it literally dies.
Yeah,
So Wobba Fett has always been weird, and it also shows how flawed the gotcha machine is, because they already used it for this episode. So they had to resort to Meowth and Wobba Fett.
yeah.
It's like,
And
just give me Rocket a team
right.
already.
They weren't a big threat. Meowth's already kind of weak, and Wobbuffet didn't even use this miracle, so it was like,
Right. I'm like, just give Team Rocket a team already. Stop playing around with this gotcha nonsense.
I'm kind of getting sick of the gotcha at this point. It's
And
like, what the hell?
and you know it's a problem when Team Rocket in main episodes gotcha. The shooter will be in a 2-in-1.
oh yeah, I hate that.
Oh, God, do not even get me started.
No,
on that.
but like the Pokemon that actually matters for Team Rocket, it's going to get development in the controversial episodes.
Like,
So,
what
yeah.
happened to Morpeko? Like,
He's eating. He's eating.
Easy.
He's too
Like,
good.
yeah, he could have confirmed it was living with them, but we didn't even see it when they went to the base. Like, that would have been perfect if it came with them. It helped them with the plan. Like maybe Jesse
Yeah,
looked over.
can you imagine Aura Wheel Morpeko like shooting electricity and like on angry mode scaring Sobble?
Oh,
Development.
that would be perfect. So
Can
yeah,
also go with what
Sobble being scared of angry mode Morpeko. Yeah.
Like I have told Kuro several times, this sounds great, but from what you're telling me, it sounds like you're trying to make a story here, so it's not exactly going to work for Pokemon Journeys.
What exactly do you mean when you say trying to make a story? Because isn't that what Pokemon should be doing anyways?
Journeys.
That's
Xanalif sounds like the director for Journeys. It sounds great, and I'm feeling you, but you're making a story, and we're trying not to do that.
Journeys wants to be episodic. Remember, they changed the story formula.
Yeah, but like I stated earlier, is like the problem when you do that though is that if you're gonna make it episodic, but you have episodes where things progressively happen. Like you have progression. Go has more Pokemon now than he had in episode 1.
Yeah,
It's like they're trying to write.
I said it.
It's
said
like
it
they're
when I-
trying to write a linear story in a non-linear show.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. I've said this multiple times, and I'll say it again. Where it's like it's like there's a reason. Again, these aren't anime, but like these are the best examples I have. There's a reason why, like, you have shows like of different genres that work when it comes to episodic and not episodic. There's a reason why shows like SpongeBob and Family Guy have began to die down, and yet in that regards where it's like these are episodic episodes, they're not meant to have a story. The problem with Pokemon is there is a story no matter what you put it. Ever since episode 1 of the series, there's been a story. This boy wants to become a Pokemon master. Now, when you give the character a dream, then there has to be progression. The moment a character has a goal, there needs to be progression, and there has to be continuity. There's no escaping it. You trying to make an episodic show based off a character who has a goal will never work. There's never been a point in any form of media or pop culture where an episodic format of a character who has a goal ever worked. And
Not to mention that when Pokemon Journeys was announced as Pocket Monsters 2019, the premise of the show was Ash and Go will be at Sakuragi Institute in Vermilion City, and they will travel around the world. So before the show even starts, I knew why it wasn't in Pallet Town, because of Oaks VA, and they would have to pay extra for Delia and maybe Tracy if he's even around. So, but the moment that they set the story, like how Alola had Melee, but the moment they set the story in Vermilion, that's in Kanto, and they have the premise of traveling around the world, my head was like, is this going to be an enhanced version of Battle Frontier? And I'm like, maybe not. Let's see. But the moment that it stars in Kanto, and Ash doesn't bring everyone like I'm not saying bring everyone back, but have the veterans teach the newbies. You see what I'm going for? I'm already worried about the show. I'm already worried about the show before the show even starts. And like we knew we would have Galar, but we did not know of the PWC because Ash already won the league. So how would they make the Galar Gym Challenge? I would love the idea of Scott being the sponsor, but continuity in Journeys, it's not as much as it should have. However, Ash in the PWC, like how you said in your video, Zano, it lacks direction. And when your main character, when the goal of your protagonist, it's a subplot for the show, that's a problem.
I think the biggest issue.
Do you
is
really
that
want?
Pokemon-
Do you really? If this is Ash's final run, do you really want for Ash and Team Rocket as a whole to finish their story like this? Nah.
I think the biggest problem is that Pokemon has been having continuity issues for so long that at this point, I think the writers are just.
I blame Team Kato. I blame Team Kato. The moment they appeared at the end of DP.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
yourself.
Did everyone give their thoughts on the episode?
I think now's a good time to transition into our discussion on the preview for next week.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to.
Is there anything else anybody wants to mention before we switch?
Now, before we do,
Any closing thoughts? Here, let's just.
Goggles is getting ready to screenshot. So, any closing thoughts?
As our closing thing,
I'm fine with it.
I know some of us already said our rating, but just for the sake of consistency, let's all go down the line and say our rating of the episode. Hold on, where is it? So we got Goggles. What would you rate the episode?
6.5.
Getting a screenshot, so go to the next one. Oh, there he is.
Trey, what do you rate the episode? You rated
7 out of 10.
7 out of 10. I would be inclined to give it a 7, maybe a 6.5 out of 10, but pretty much around there. Alex?
9 out of 10.
Zano? Ooh, 9 out of 10, dude.
6 out of 10.
Okay. Crasher?
It'd be a 7.5 for me out of 10.
Too much water?
Cool.
That's 7.8. You want me to change it?
Wow, Alex. All right, Infamous, what would you rate this episode?
I would say 7 out of 10.
Nice. Nut, what about you?
6 out of 10. Not enough water.
Okay.
What?
And Kuro?
A solid 7.
Solid 7.
Okay. And then Tyrone, last but not least.
A 6, but subject to change on the pod on Monday.
Okay. Cool. All right. Well.
And now I got the screenshots set up.
Doggles
so,
looks like he's got some screenshots
I got
ready to go.
Now,
We talked about.
We're ready to
talk
talk
about the
this
preview.
episode or the preview for the next episode. There we go. All right.
Yeah.
Preview time. So, who here's excited for this episode?
I'm actually very excited. I think me and Kuro both are on the same page. Chloe is my favorite character in Pokemon Journeys.
Bro, I'm more excited for the premise of Gleamwood Tangle. Chloe gets lost in the woods, and the boys have to find her, and they'll meet Opal. And I ship Go and Koharu, so I want to see Go desperate to find the girl. Okay?
All right. So let's.
We got the anchor chick from the Sweepcoon episode. Sorry, that's some more shipping done right.
Who's first?
Don't give us hope.
We will start with Goggles. Goggles, what do you think of the preview? What are your thoughts?
I'm looking forward to this episode more or less for the what's the word? The visuals basically. I'm looking forward because from the previews that we've seen, it's gonna look a very mesmerizing episode with the coloring and shiny. I mean not shiny, with Galarian Ponyta. Because we can all agree here. And I swear to God, if you don't agree, I'm gonna hurt you. Galarian Ponyta is the cutest thing ever. Okay then. Anyway, but
Did anyone else get that?
can hear him on the stream, but we can't hear him. Like that's the issue.
Wait, what?
When he gets a new headset, we'll be okay.
Got it.
Keep going, Goggles. It's just stream can hear you, but we can't. So just keep going, bro.
God damn it.
Now we can hear you. It's all good. Just continue, please.
We can hear you now.
I'm looking forward to this episode, mainly for Koharu and Ponyta. I don't know if she's gonna catch the Ponyta or not. From what it looks like, it wants his mother to heal up because of the broken leg, violence, and I'm looking forward to Alpo because Alpo is a unique gym leader in the sense of how she always battles. But Journeys isn't really that gym battle-y format. It's more like the episodic format. So who knows what's gonna happen? Bottom line, me personally, I'm looking forward to this episode. Who's next?
Who's up next? I know Ion's looking at the list, I think.
I think it's Trey.
All right. So this episode, I actually have a little theory. So as we know, Opal in the games is looking for a gym leader replacement. No, Chloe doesn't have a goal yet. And we know that from these past few episodes, they kind of replaced BD, Hop, and Marnie with Ash, Go, and Chloe, where Go took over BD's story and Hop's story, and Marnie's Morpico's here with Team Rocket. So they don't end up introducing these rivals. I actually do believe that Opal, since Opal's going to be meeting Ash and Go and Chloe's going to be lost with the Ponytas, it's like Opal will be taking an interest in Chloe. Maybe you want to take her in, like, as a student. Like, Chloe obviously should be going back to Kanto and stuff, but maybe we'll be coming back here from time to time, and Opal's kind of like the mentor to Chloe, kind of like how Ash and Go have Leon and Rayvon. So I think that'll be a really interesting, story right there that they could be telling. Already she's wearing pink. It's already, a good sign of being that gym leader. And who knows, she could end up becoming that gym leader. Like, we don't know what her goal will be in the series yet, but I feel like this will be setting up possibilities of Opal kind of helping Chloe. Even if she doesn't become a gym leader later on, she could help her find a new goal. Opal's a model. So also something that could be happening where she's helping, Chloe do something with modeling. We don't know what her goal will be. I think this episode's going to set Chloe up a lot. As for the Ponytas, I want her to catch Ponyta, but how the preview showed it off, I don't think she's going to catch it. As we can see, it's a Rapidash and a Ponyta together. The Rapidash is hurt. The Ponyta's kind of looking out for Rapidash. It'd be like she'd be taking the Ponyta away from Rapidash, unless the Rapidash is like, I can take care of myself. You go on with this new trainer. I'm not sure how they're going to handle it. So right now, I'm keeping my expectations low. She won't catch it. But I'm hoping that she does. And if she does, then that's another great setup to her possibly, with Opal, maybe to become like a fairy type gym leader, or who knows, even a model. Like, I think that would be pretty cool to see, Overall, though,
yeah,
I think it's be a nice.
This is Journey, so most likely what it can happen is that Chloe catches Ponyta and Go captures Rapidash.
Right. That's a good. Go does mention
they stay together, but with different trainers.
Go does mention in the preview he wants to catch the Galarian form too, so that is a great possibility.
Yeah. All right. I think
All right.
I'm up.
I'm not finished.
It's me next.
I'm not finished.
Alex, you're
Hold on,
after.
guys. Hold on. Got one more thing I wanted to say. Yeah. What was it? My bad. Lost train of thought. Hold on.
Okay. My turn.
Go ahead. I'll come back.
Yeah. Well, first off, Trey, that was an interesting theory. I didn't even really think about that, to be honest. The whole Opal trying to recruit Chloe thing. That would be an interesting turn, because right now we really don't know what Chloe's goal, quote unquote, is. So that would be an interesting turn. I honestly think she will catch Ponyta, but obviously I don't know. We've kind of been spoiled by a lot of the major captures based on previews or openings or what have you. So the fact that they didn't spoil it from promotional material or the preview, I can understand why you wouldn't think she would catch it. But also, I'm also very excited to see the Glimwood Tangle actually in the anime, because it's obviously one of the best locations in Sword and Shield, the games. And also, I really like Galarian Ponyta, so I really hope she catches it. But like I said before, Chloe's my favorite character in Pokemon Journeys, so any episode with Chloe in it is good by my book.
Yeah. Also, I remember what I wanted to say actually.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't think that you know how Ash has been training with the gym leaders like B, Rayhan, and then this champion Leon. I don't think that Opal will actually be a rival for Ash in the series. Just based on her.
I don't think either.
Opal would be a rival.
That would be weird.
If anything, I only see Opal being interested in Mimey because Mimey is a fairy type.
Yeah.
All right. I think I'm up now. So, I guess I'm the exact opposite of Trey's thoughts because I really think Koharu is going to catch Ponyta, and I really don't want her to. And I've got a couple reasons for that. I guess, for one, she just caught Eevee. We have not had another Eevee-focused episode. We probably won't have one for another 37 episodes, you know? Like, we need to develop this Pokemon, and Koharu already has a Yamper that she doesn't really use, so she has a team of 2 that needs development, and I don't think it makes sense to throw in a third Pokemon when she's not even a trainer, you know? Or, well, she is a trainer, but she's not, like, a battler, so it doesn't really make sense for her team to get bigger yet. I also think that, like, Ponyta is a very kind of, like, feminine Pokemon, and I feel like they might just be giving it to her because she's female, and that's just kind of dumb, in my opinion. Because, like, I don't know, I don't really think Ponyta even fits Koharu's personality. Maybe you guys would disagree there. So, I can hope that Go catches it. I think that would make sense. I hope for that, although it's not likely. In the opening, we see Koharu with the Ponyta, so I really think she's going to catch it. I don't want that to happen, but those are my thoughts, at least. I think you're up, Sano.
All right, well, this episode, it seems very promising, but then again, every single time I say an episode is promising for Journeys, it's never ends up being as promising as it looks. But I'm hoping that the episode gives good development to the character of Chloe. I hope that Opal has some kind of cool role because I do like seeing all the Galar gym leaders in the anime. I think just seeing the gym leaders is really, really cool. I'm really hoping the next one is Pierce. Please, Pokemon Journeys. Please, 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 please. But I think the as for where I stand in regards to Chloe catching the Ponyta, I think she will catch it. I think I don't know, I can just see her having it, and I also do like Galarian Ponyta. So, you know, her getting it would be something I wouldn't be opposed to.
Who's next?
I think I might be next. I haven't gone yet.
It's Crasher. It's Crasher.
Alrighty. I won't take too long here, but basically, I released a video, you know, giving my reaction and my opinions on, you know, what I might think, what I think might take place in episode 55. I'm very much excited for it. Like, any Chloe-focused episode is a win in my books. Now, with that being said, do I think she's going to get Galarian Ponyta? Absolutely. I hope she does. And the thing is, right, is I didn't think about this before, but but then now that it was brought up just a few moments ago, I'm thinking, well, you know what? That would make sense. I think that'd be pretty damn cool. And that would be if Go caught Galarian Rapidash, so that way, Galarian Ponyta and Galarian Rapidash aren't really truly, like, apart from one another, because if we take a look at the preview, we can see that obviously Ponyta is very concerned about Galarian Rapidash. Now, what the role is of Galarian Rapidash, you know, that's something I'm curious about. Like, are they best friends? Is Galarian Rapidash its caretaker? Is it, like, you know, like, what's the deal with it? Like, is it like its parent or something like that? So my thing is, I definitely want to see Go catch Galarian Ponyta. But now I also want to see Galarian Rapidash get caught. Only in the hopes that not only that Go gets, his a Galarian Pokemon, to add to his quest to Mew, but also so it would be in a way that Ponyta and Go and Rapidash would not be separate from one another. As far as Opal's role in this episode, I think it might be a short one, kind of similar to episode 27, where Sonia made her appearance, but it was really short. I think that's the same thing that's going to happen with Opal. Like, she's not going to play too big of a role, or maybe she will, but this is just me guessing off the top of my head. She's not going to play too big of a role. Probably just going to appear in a short little she'll kind of go over like history of Glimwood Tangle or like the story of Glimwood Tangle or something like that. Kind of add more perspective in that regard. And yeah, that's other than that, I really don't know what else I can say about what I think will happen in next week's episode. Pretty much y'all hit the nail on the head with your points as well.
Yeah, definitely, bro. I definitely agree.
Mm-hmm.
So next up is Infamous, bro.
Yep.
Yeah. So next week's episode, I don't know. I mean, I'm excited for it. Any Koharu based episode is actually always fun just to have her be more integrated into the group, because it definitely feels incomplete when it's just, Ash and Go. As much as we love those characters, we like those characters there, on Go's side he's developing. It's kind of weird to not have at least a 3-character layout like most of the regions do. So having her is going to be pretty fun, and I'm still on the fence if she's going to catch Ponyta or not this episode. Because it does, now thinking about it, kind of based off what everyone else is saying, I do think, there might be like a separation issue between Rapidash and Ponyta, unless, we get the cliche, Rapidash is like, I'm fine, go ahead, nod, some little Pokemon, parent-daughter or, parent-to-child thing, and then, sends it off. So I think that could definitely happen, but just depending on kind of where they want to go with it. But overall, I'm super excited to have just more Koharu, have her develop. But I think it was Tyrone that said something earlier about it, about how just the issue of her just getting Eevee and not having much development there, and then having a Yamper technically being, her Pokemon, and it really has any development. It definitely kind of makes me worried about, are we just going to give her Pokemon just to have Pokemon because they're, feminine Pokemon, or are we going to give something with the he had his debut episode, a part of the fossil-based episode. I think Eevee needs more development for sure. Oh, it was actually not bad. But I think we need, more development on those Pokemon first. I still wouldn't mind they capture, but I just want to make sure they say, hey, make sure Yamper gets its development, make sure Eevee gets development, and then work on Ponyta from there. But super excited about it. One thing that I think we haven't mentioned too much, I know this is not going to play a super ridiculous part in the episode, is one of my favorite Pokemon in Gen 8, that being I forget his name right now, I'm even losing it. Impidimp. I know he's going to make an appearance in this episode. I really, 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 really would love someone to catch Impidimp at some point in the series. So I think this would be a great episode for Go to catch it. I more would prefer Ash too, but I think it's a great episode to see this Pokemon, see what kind of pranks it wants to do, and just kind of see what kind of adding to the team of all the Pokemon in Sagaragi's Park. So I'm super excited about the episode. I would say I'm looking pretty forward to it.
I'm excited either way.
All right. So jumping into the whole thing for the next episode, I actually do have. It's not really a theory, because a theory would entitle that like, oh, I think this particular thing is gonna happen. No, it's more of an interesting thing where a lot of Chloe episodes. Wow, I can't believe I actually called her that. I always call her Koharu. Yeah, a lot of Koharu episodes tend to. One thing that I noticed with a lot of Koharu episodes that I kind of like is whenever Koharu is a main focus of the episode, something in the episode always points towards certain careers. If you pay attention, like one looking on her looking at mom as an artist, looking at as a professor, and looking at how professional Pokemon can go with farming, or the fossils, or any of that stuff. So then I'm going to assume that some point somewhere here, she's going to meet a character, whether it's Opal or someone else, that has a particular job, whether it's in the Gleamwood Tangle or in the town near it. I forgot what it's called.
Leah?
But say it again.
Ellen Leah?
Yeah, that one. And like, so I'm imagining that we're gonna meet a character or find something out about some kind of special job here, because again, like Koharu's character, at least when it comes to episodes revolving around her, they tend to focus a lot more on stories that had to do with certain jobs in the Pokemon world, and I'm not gonna be surprised if that continues here. When it comes to catching Ponyta, I'm completely indifferent. If she catches it, great. If not, that's fine. The only thing that comes to my mind is in the preview we see a Ponyta with a Rapidash, and I'm like, oh, parent and child. There's no way anyone's gonna catch this thing. That's just my opinion. Usually when there's a parent and a child involved, unless it's a Kangaskhan, usually that means, yeah, no, this ain't gonna get caught. This is just gonna be a Pokemon we help up the day. With that in mind, the Impidimps, I totally see an Impidimp being caught more than a Ponyta this time around. But again, if Ponyta or Rapidash gets caught, that's totally cool. That's fine. Whatever. Just it has no effect on me. Similar to what I will say, I do agree with love. I'm hoping we get a bit more time with EV or Yamper here, especially that idea that Kuro shared about like that about Yamper. That's a thing. I'm hoping Go catches more Pokemon here, because whenever they go to another region, I want Go to catch a butt ton of Pokemon. So here's hoping, and yeah, that's really it. That's all I got.
All right, cool. Next up is Tyrone.
First off, that Ponyta's hers. You can see it in the opening. like it's there when she's petting its mane, when Leon and the others are trying to figure out where to go next in the lake. So it's as good as hers. And like I think that point is already sort of stapled in stone. I do agree though with the statement. Oh, girly Pokemon, girly trainer, it's a perfect match. I think that's like, especially in this day and age, I think that's a very lame reason to put them together. Although I will say there is a bullet point that brings them together. And my guess would be that like she takes care of Ponyta's mane, much like she takes care of her hair. Koharu's hair has been a very important thing to her since her like her first focused episode, where she wants to get ready for the day, but she has to get her hair ready and stuff, and she actually likes doing her hair. So there's a level of attention to detail when it comes to fashion. The only thing to me that shows some relative interest here is the Galar location, Gleamwood Tangle. And the idea that they are meeting Opal. Opal is a very interesting gym leader in the games herself, where she likes like characters that wear pink, and she's looking for a person to become like a successor for her. But I don't think anything's gonna come of that with Koharu's story, so that's sort of put down, at least. But who knows? The show could surprise me, I guess. But it's a journey, so I'm not holding my breath or anything. I want to see how they handle this, and I want to see how they handle putting Koharu in a situation by herself, and that means without Ash and Go, because I feel like they're gonna do the same thing with Koharu that they do with Go, where in order to make Koharu somewhat relevant, they have to subdue the other characters. I swear, I think in the episode with Emperor, I think Go Ash there. and he just sort of tells stop, like don't do anything. Let Koharu be the one to tell Yamper to use Spark. And I'm just like, at this point, the only thing really preventing Go and Ash from doing anything is just respect. And I'm just like, yeah, but what are you going to do in a crisis? Like, we don't want a repeat of the Sobble situation where it's like the Pokemon could definitely escape, but they're choosing openly not to until the time is right. But I do still find it interesting. I still like the idea that Opal is going to be introduced to Ash and Go, and I hope their development and relationship is used in a somewhat hilarious way. I've always found Opal to be a old lady character with a lot of great charm. Koharu, on the other hand, I do want her experience with Ponyta to feel legitimate. I don't want it to just be like, oh, you're cute and I'm a girl. Let's come together so that we can advertise you for toys to be sold.
My Little Pony, My Little Pony.
So I don't need them to do that. I need them to actually legitimately lock down and make a legitimate relationship, especially considering that, like you guys said before, Eevee was caught recently. Like, Eevee isn't even fully developed as a Pokemon yet, unless Eevee is the thing that's used in order to help lead to the capture of Ponyta. And even still, that's got to be handled with care. We can't just start giving. It feels a lot like in this season, they're trying to do a lot of the criticisms that we gave them in last season. And I'm like, that's great. These are things that should have been done a while ago.
Yeah, now it's rushed.
And now it all feels flushed in. To me, this is weirdly the Sun and Moon situation. Whereas, like, nothing was happening, and then the league happened, and suddenly everything was happening. Like, it's just uncomfortable. To me, that's uncomfortable pacing. But it's all about how they handle it. And
yeah, I agree.
Being in Galar for a day has always been a thing that bugs me. So
the two-parter, like I don't like how they stop.
Galar gets the short end of the stick by not having its own series, so they have to do these temporary visits, and that always has been like very.
That's always been kind of off-putting.
Yeah, exactly. It's been very awkward.
This is why I always believe that the show should have been in Motostoke instead of Vermilion.
Exactly.
Oh, definitely. I wouldn't have even have Sakuragi and Professor Magnolia work together. Nothing says they can't be in the same laboratory.
They know together. Yamper most likely was Sonia's before it was Koharu.
Right. And I wouldn't have minded that either. That, like, you have all the elements here, and it's just like they sort of reel back to Vermilion because it was the safe zone.
Kanto, nostalgia, stuff like that.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm just hoping that
they are in Kanto, but they don't even do Kanto right. Like, only in episode 50 we saw Run.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that to the very least Koharu's development with Ponyta feels justifiable enough to catch it. But at this point, I think, like you guys, my standards and expectations are so low at this point. I don't think I'm not like whatever we get is whatever we get. But at Ponyta, I think is going to be hers. I mean, I would like for her to visit the Ponyta this episode and have that adventure, and then come back to Galar. And we see more development than she captured. That way it feels earned. But it's very clear that Koharu's and we see more development than she captured. That way it feels earned. But it's very clear that Koharu's going to get it. And at this point, the question is, did she earn it?
Yeah.
Honestly, you brought up, like, me being, like, expectations being so bored. I mean, not bored, low. The thing is, like, I'm looking at Pokemon Journeys now, and I'm like, I'm not really that excited to watch this show anymore.
Same.
I mean, because the main issue is that it's been trying to please everybody at once.
But then it's pleasing no one.
But then it's pleasing no one, right?
Literally, in X and Y and Sun and Moon, I used to, like, you can goggles, X goggles, like, we used to watch the episodes together, and I used to be excited. Like, bro, you ready? But it takes so long to watch the Journeys episodes now. Like, it's no rush anymore.
It feels more like a chore.
Exactly.
Oh, it definitely feels like even in the pod, it feels like something I have to do to make sure I have something to say about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wigs from
Yeah.
Zeb.
And if you're not having fun, why bother?
All right. Well, I feel like we should hand the torch over to Kuro.
Kiro, my bad, bro.
Okay.
Yeah.
No worries. Okay, so because this is a Koharu episode, I am very invested in this, and I see multiple directions where it can go. Because in the VA list, we see Go's Rotom phone and Koharu's Rotom phone, so maybe they will have captures. That's why Koharu getting a Ponyta and Go getting a Rapidash could happen. Like the one with development gets the evolution, the one that it's still in development gets the pre-evolution. Although I would not mind if Rapidash was to become Opal's. Like Opal, like, okay, you take care of the baby, I'll take care of the because we know that Rapidash will eventually get cured from the bruise on the leg or whatever, because we see in the preview like Koharu riding on Rapidash. Although the whole Impidimp is just going to be like the Team Rocket of the show, of the episode, just like causing trouble to separate everyone, because that's the thing that's going to happen. They are going to sideline Ash and Go for Koharu's development, but they are going to put Opal there to foreshadow, like how someone said about Sonia. I think it was you, Crusher, like how Sonia in episode 27. So yeah, like Opal will be there more for a role of foreshadowing, and like how you guys said, the episodes where Koharu is, it's more about jobs and careers of the Pokemon world. I'm seeing a pattern in regards to she has some nursing skills, because taking care of Pidove, and also looking for EV safety, and now watching for Galarian Ponyta. My end game for Koharu, if I was to write the show, I did a video on this, she should be a Pokemon archaeologist, because being a nurse is kind of like the breeder-doctor thing that Brock was going for, and Koharu not being in every episode is an issue. Heck, she not having Yamper is an issue, because season 1, every time we see Koharu, it's to develop her and Yamper. And now Yamper gets sidelined for Eevee's sake? Nah. Yamper will most likely in this episode suffer the same thing from the Diglett one. It appears in the first minute and doesn't go on the adventure. Which is stupid, because Yamper, if it wasn't the adventure, he could just smell the scent of Koharu, and the lost thing would not be a thing at all.
Exactly.
But there's that. In regards to Opal, I think that Opal will basically be the Kickstarter of Koharu, like trying to figure out what she wants to do in life. Maybe the successor of Gym Leader, because Opal in the games, she was the one that battled Mustard for the champion title. So Opal is strong. Opal has 70 years of experience of being a gym leader. So she knows, she has more experience in battle that the kids have in life combined. Yeah, but I think I love the idea that when Bede shows up, because Bede will eventually show up, it will not have the role of the games, but Bede has the Galarian Ponyta. So I like the idea that Bede could potentially, as the successor of Opal, one day be a rival for Koharu. Because merch speaks louder than story. That's why we have Morpeko now instead of for Marnie, like how we had Mimikyu for Team Rocket. And they had the shiny Mimikyu for Acerola. So Marnie will either have a shiny Morpeko, or they will focus on Gigantamax Grimmsnarl. And maybe that's why the Impidimp are here, but I don't see anyone capturing an Impidimp. Koharu getting a Ponyta, it means that Bede, when Bede shows up, Bede will be the one to have the Gigantamax Hatterene. At least that's what I'm going for. Koharu not always being the show, I really hope that it starts to be a statement, because that's one thing that I realized about all of the characters in the show. We always had a triad. The Brain, that's Ash. The Brawn, that's Ash, sorry. The Brain, it's either Brock, or it can be co-shared with, it's Brock, Silent, Clement, and the Heart, that's always the girl. So we always have the Brawn, the protagonist, that Ash, the Brain, the guy, and the Heart, that's the girl. Sometimes the Heart can be shared, like in X and Y, we had Serena with Bonnie. The Brain can be shared, like Brock and Max had in AG. But the Brawn can never be shared, because that's Ash. Ash is all action. That's why he's the sword protagonist. He's active. Go is passive. He's analytical. When you write a show that has knowledge and action only when you have brain and brawn, but you don't have heart. When you have a show and the show doesn't have heart, the show cannot live on. So that's why Koharu needs to be on the show. The show needs for her to be the heart of the show. And speaking of hearts, that's the one thing. Yamper, the corgi butt, it's in shape of a heart. Female Eevee, the tail, has a heart shape. Galarian Ponyta can check the evil within your hearts. Galarian Ponyta is basically a vibe check. So the idea of Koharu having this heart-themed Pokemon, visual or metaphorical, I love it. It's symbolic. It's symbolic writing at its finest. I like to believe that OLM has one good writer, and I say one because the staff cannot know how to write shit. So yeah, I'm excited for Koharu, for her development's sake, but as an episode of Pokemon and as an episode of Journeys, I try to get my expectations low, but I love her character so much. So, but I know that I'm hoping for 80, and I will get an 8. So there's that. I don't have anything much else to say, honestly, or at least I don't recall it because.
Bro, I just want to point out that heart thing is a really interesting thing. Cause I remember a lot of us mentioned on here was like, we was kind of thinking, are they just getting the girly Pokemon like? But that was actually a pretty good, explanation that you made, bro. I really do hope that's the case.
Yeah. Not to mention that the Galarian Ponyta, it's a psychic variant. What's the Pokemon that Go is always trying to catch? Mew, a psychic Pokemon. And here's the thing. Go had the goal capturing Mew. He got a dream of capturing them all on episode 6. Ash had a dream, be the strongest trainer. He got the goal of challenging leagues and become a Pokemon master in episode 5. That's the Brock episode. So Go had the goal and got the dream. Ash had a dream and got the goal. Koharu's story, it's about self-discovery. I don't care if Koharu gets a dream or a goal, or if she does, great. If she doesn't, great. Because her story, it's not about aiming for something. It's about the journey, not the destination. So yeah,
that was well said. That was awesome.
Well said.
Nice.
So wait, was that
In the last eprepisode, she'll literally say, "My journey starts today."
Shut up.
Also in the preview, we do see like Ash and Go, like they are pointing fingers with different numbers. So I think that Opal will do the trial question thing from her gym to them. And there is a scene where Koharu and Eevee have the same size. So I don't know what will happen for them to have the same size in that one scene.
So what you're saying is the next episode is going to be an acid trip.
I mean, look at that. The new mushrooms. I'm just saying.
Gleamwood Tangle's filled with mushrooms.
Also, this episode, it's already better than the 24-hour live stream that we got. So.
Oh my God.
Heck yeah.
Hey.
Now remind me about that. Oh my god, I wanted.
I feel so bad for Sarah B. Joe.
Me too. I was like, wow.
Ruffle Raleigh.
Also, but in regards to the beginning of the episode, we are not going to see the city of Balloonly. However, it would be interesting if I think that Opal will be the one to lead Ash and Go to the entrance, or maybe like Galarian Ponyta and Rapidash, when they are healed, they are going to lead them into the exit. Team Rocket will not be in this episode, I hope. I didn't see them in the VA list. However, I would love the idea that the episode begins with them entering Gleamwood Tangle from the Stowen side. And I would love the idea that, for example, Ash and Glowy, they see the mural of Stowen side destroyed. They're like, what the fuck happened? And Go and Cinderace are like, yeah, that's our doing, bitch. But it won't happen. It won't happen. That's basically like what Zeno said. That's great and all, but it's writing a story.
Why would they say, quick question? Why would they say bitch?
Huh? Cut out.
Alright, but so
What?
anyone got a chance to say? Anyone had a chance to talk about the preview, all right?
think that pretty much wraps everything up, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
We're all done.
Looks like it's time for us to wrap things up for today.
Honestly, I think we did great timing. Like for the episode, 1 hour.
Goggles, you're cutting out a
No,
lot.
yeah, I'm.
Alright, hang on. I'm about to join back in, and let's see. Let's see. Going back in, you.
Preview 30 minutes.
Hello?
All right.
Am I good?
Goggles, you can go ahead and close us out if you would like.
Alright, well then. Like I said before, we have wrapped things up, and I think it is time for us to close this off for the night. So, with that said, first off, I wanna thank our usuals. Alex, thank you for joining us. I didn't hear him. God damn it. Hello? Hello?
We can't hear you.
Goggles,
Goggles,
you
right?
good?
Damn it. Okay, let's see. How do I do this? We are literally at the end point right now. Hold on, maybe this could work. Oh, very much at the point we're at the end point right now. Right now, this thing is just starting to like say, "Nah, I don't want to work now." Do you guys think we will get a Pokemon trailer during Super Bowl? Daniel, Poke, I don't think so, cause yeah, I don't think so, cause I know they did that back in the 20th anniversary, but we don't have any announcements of that.
Let's see, Alex, did you go, bro? Zoro?
Bye.
Venom? Oh,
Hello? Hello? Can you guys hear me now?
Asher. First time on the show. But, yeah.
It was awesome. I hope that I didn't butcher my first day on the job, so to speak. I want to thank you guys all for putting up with my crazy ass
Nah, you
and
did it
for
right.
No worries. Everything I should be the one.
oh,
Crasher. They handle me on a weekly basis. You're good, man.
Everything I should be.
Don't fire me. But in all seriousness, you guys, thank you so very much for having me. To all the people that are viewing this, I hope you guys had a good time. And also be sure to hit the subscribe button for Goggles. Get him up to 350 subscrizzlers. And also smash the like button if you enjoyed today's content.
All right, thank you. But what you guys?
Oh, thank you, man.
You guys can hear me though, right? Finally.
Yeah.
It's better now.
Okay, well, good news is we're about to end it, so hopefully we got back. Anyways, Crasher, thank you for joining us on your first day, like you said before.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Alex, thank you for joining us as always. Oops.
I guess third time's the charm. Thanks for having me.
Infamous, thank you for joining us on your first day.
Hey, well, thanks for having me, and I'm excited to be here and excited for a lot more.
All right, Koro, thank you for joining us as always.
Thank you for having me again.
Gideon, thank you for joining us.
Oh, wait, did he say me?
Oh, for crying out loud.
Thanks for having me.
Zoro, thank you for joining us as always.
Goodbye.
And so Trey's freaking muted and different. Tyrone, thank you for joining us. And I do apologize for the technical difficulties. We'll fix that soon.
Oh, it's fine. It was fun. It was definitely interesting.
All right, and Zeno, thank you for joining us.
goodbye as well.
And Trey, go ahead, say bye.
Wait. I'm not say farewell, my comrades. Farewell, my comrades.
Oh yes, farewell, my comrades.
Damn it, Trey.
Damn it, Trey.
What is that?
Damn it, Trey.
Wait, thanks for having me on the podcast. Peace out.
Folks, you are all, I'll put everyone's links, channels, and Twitter in the description below. And with that said, if Trey doesn't show up in the next 5 seconds, I'm going to close this up.
Yeah, what he said.
Okay
Yeah.
then. So with that,
Yeah.
with that said, we will see you guys on Saturday finally because we're going back to that format. So with that said, take everybody.